Hello everyone. The year is over. It's 2022 now. It will get some time to get used to it. And I know, just like me, you must have a list of books that you are looking forward to reading this year, books that you just can't wait to read, books that you are excited about. But I thought before that, let's just reflect back on the year that has passed by, the books that I have read in that year, and which are the top books, which are those books that I absolutely loved, which books that made to my top list. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you all 10 books that I love, 10 books that I like the most from 2021, books that I read in 2021. And here are these books. These are the 10 books that I'll be talking about, that I'll be sharing with you in this video, and what those books are about. So guys, you can pick any book in the list. These are, obviously they are all kind of books, fiction, non-fiction, but all of these books are amazing and you will love reading any of these. So don't worry, just you can pick up any book and you will like it. In 2021, I mostly read fictions, but surprisingly, in my top 10 list, there are just 3 fictions which made it to the list. Maybe I enjoy reading non-fictions more. So yeah, let's get started. First book that we are going to talk about is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Now this one is a fable and it's very inspiring and very engaging. So the reason for getting this book was very simple, that this book is very thin and I thought कि ठीक है मेरी जल्दी से एक और book हो जाएगी खत्म. Also इस book में जैसे आप देखोगे तो बहुत सारे पेज ऐसे भी हैं, like they are just image of the bird flying. So I thought ये तो छोटी तो है ही book और इस book में इतना कुछ ये सब भी दे रखा है, पेजेस जिसमें कुछ पढ़ना नहीं है, बस यू कैन जस्ट सी एंड मूव फॉरवर्ड. सो ये तो बहुत ही जल्दी मैं पढ़ लूँगी. सो दैट वाज माय इंस्पिरेशन बिहाइंड गेटिंग दिस बुक, बट इट टर्न्ड आउट टू बी अमेजिंग. आई कंप्लीटेड दिस बुक इन वन सिटिंग. Like I was reading this book and I thought नहीं अभी और पढ़नी, तो obviously बहुत छोटी book है इसलिए भी पढ़ी गई. And also this book was very inspirational, very engaging, and this book will teach you a lot. So that is why this book is here in my top 10 list. A very beautiful and meaningful book. Many people will be able to relate to this book. You'll get inspired after reading this book, and a must read. Also it's a non-fiction book and इतनी छोटी सी है and it's a story. See, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, a story, basically it's a fable. So इसलिए आपको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा, क्योंकि जैसे नॉन फिक्शन बुक्स कुछ होती है जो थ्योरेटिकल होती है, जो आपको बस बता रही है कि दिस हैपेंस, इट्स ऑल थ्योरेटिकल, बट इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. इट्स अ स्टोरी एंड थ्रू दैट स्टोरी a teaching has been given. Through that the story is inspiring in itself and you will learn a lot. So that is why this book is here and a must read. Just trust me and read it. Next book that we'll be talking about is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now this book is in my list because it's amazing. I got to learn so much about finance, about personal finance, and how we should keep our money, how we should multiply our money, and the basic principles. I learned a lot from this book. More than about finance or financial principles, this book is about mindset. What kind of mindset you should have regarding your money, regarding your earning, how you should look towards wealth, and how you should look towards multiplying it. It's all that. So a very an amazing book. And if you have not read any finance book, then this is a great starting point, because the language is very easy, the way everything is explained is easy, and it's for beginners only. In school there is not much importance given to personal finance, which should be given, because no matter in which profession you are, you should always know how to keep your money, you should always know how to multiply your money. That's a basic necessity. Everyone should know of that. Even if you have not read anything in school, even if you are not aware of the principles, even if you do not have the knowledge of that, it's great that we have this book and many other books. So this book is just a starting point. But if you want to know more about personal finance, which you should, then you can start with this book. Then you can go to other books which are more advanced, more high level books, but this book is a great starting point and everyone should have this knowledge. Next book that we are going to talk about is The Secret. Now this book is very famous. जो लोग बुक्स पढ़ते हैं उन्होंने इस बुक के बारे में ज़रूर सुना होगा. बहुत फेमस बुक है and that is why I wanted to read this. What the fuss is about. ऐसा भी क्या है इस बुक में जो इतनी फेमस है. And it was amazing. I loved reading this book. This book gave me positive vibes, many positive ideas, and it was beautiful. I just loved reading this book. मैंने एक और book पढ़ी है जो कि similar topic पे है, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. वो भी मुझे अच्छी लगी, but the way मतलब जिस तरीके से इस book में चीजें describe की गई है, that's amazing. जिस तरीके से ये book लिखी गई है, that's amazing. So a very very beautiful, positive book that will inspire you and give you positive vibes, book that will give you the much needed optimism that you need. So definitely a must read if you are thinking of doing something, if you just want to get inspired, if you want to get out of a dead state, if you want to push yourself to pick this book up. Next book that we are going to talk about is Open. Now this one is an autobiography of a very famous tennis player, Andre Agassi. I saw this book on Virat Kohli's list, and then I was in a bookstore and I saw this book and I read a few pages and I absolutely loved them. I opened some random pages, they were amazing. और अब जब मैंने ये बुक पढ़ ली है, दिस बुक इज़ अमेजिंग. आपको इतना कुछ पता चलेगा ऑन द टीवी या फिर न्यूज़ में हम लोग कितना थोड़ा सा ही पता चलता है, बट द काइंड ऑफ लाइफ दीज प्लेयर्स लीड, द काइंड ऑफ प्रेशर दे हैव, द स्ट्रगल विद देमसेल्फ, द स्ट्रगल विद द गेम, हाउ दे बोथ लव द गेम एंड हेट इट एट द सेम टाइम, एंड अ लॉट मीन्स जो हम लोग टीवी पे देखते हैं इन प्लेयर्स का बीट मीन्स ये तो टेनिस प्लेयर हैं, बट आई थिंक द सेम कैन अप्लाई टू अदर स्पोर्ट्स एज वेल. सो जो हम जितना हमें दिखता है इनकी लाइफ, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We don't see the struggle, we don't see the pain, we don't see the courage, the resilience, the persistence they have. The reason why I absolutely loved this book, absolutely loved it, was it was very honest. The book was very raw and it was just amazing to read it. I was totally engaged, I was totally captivated in the book. I wanted to know more and I loved how candid he was in the book, and I loved everything about the books. So definitely my top. Next book that we are going to talk about is The Girl on the Train. Now this one is a fiction, a psychological thriller. I love such books. I love these books which I can't put down. I just have to read. Just one more chapter, then I'll keep it aside. I tell this to myself all the time, and deep down I also know that I won't keep it aside. So I love such books. These books I just love. I love watching such movies as well, and books give me just next level thrills. So that is why I love this book. So very captivating, engaging, thrilling. You'll be on the edge of your seat all the time. You'll get goosebumps. You won't know what is happening. आपको पता नहीं लगेगा क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है. You'll be constantly waiting for answers, and an amazing book. जिन भी लोगों को साइकोलॉजिकल थ्रिलर्स पढ़ने में इंटरेस्ट है, जिन लोगों को सस्पेंस मिस्ट्री बुक्स पढ़ने में पसंद, जिन लोगों को थ्रिलिंग बुक्स पसंद है या फिर मूवीज पसंद है, तो बुक तो आपको ये ज़रूर पसंद आएगी. Next book that we are going to talk about is Freakonomics. Now this book was again amazing. The reason is this book is written by an economist and a journalist. So उन economist ने बहुत अलग अलग weird चीज़ों पे research की, बहुत अलग अलग weird चीज़ों पे data collect करके उनके अलग conclusions निकाले हैं, and you will be amazed. Like हमने ऐसा तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं, या फिर हमने कभी भी इन दोनों चीज़ों को तो relate किया ही नहीं. Like there was this comparison drawn between that swimming pools are much more harmful or much of a risk to young kids than bullets, than guns. So comparisons like this. And there were others like, what is the similarity between sumo wrestlers and teachers, I think. Let me just confirm once. Yeah, so school teachers, sumo wrestlers में क्या चीज़ common है, और भी बहुत कुछ. So this is one of those books which will be very exciting to read, which will be very interesting to read, because आपको कुछ नया सीखने को मिल रहा है, कुछ नया पता चल रहा है. At the same time it's going to be super fun because the conclusions that are drawn या फिर जो आप पढ़ रहे हो, that's very exciting, amusing at the same time. So one of those books which will amaze you, excite you, and also give you some food for your thought. So yeah, a must read. Next book on the list is The Rosie Project. Now this one is again a fiction, but a very different fiction from anything that I have read or any of the books that I see online or in recommendation. This one was, कुछ बुक्स होती है ना जो पढ़ के आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता है, आप कॉन्स्टेंटली स्माइल कर रहे होते हो या फिर हंस रहे होते हो इस बुक को पढ़ते हो. सो इस बुक में वो बहुत सारे मोमेंट्स थे. आई जस्ट कुडंट कंट्रोल, आई वाज लाफिंग व्हाइल रीडिंग दिस बुक. और इसलिए मुझे ये बुक बहुत अच्छी लगी बिकॉज अब मुझे मेरा मन था ऐसी बुक पढ़ने का जैसे शोज होते हैं फ्रेंड्स एंड बिग बैंग थ्योरी. सो दे आर सो फन, सो लाइट. ऐसी ये बुक थी, फन, लाइट एंड गुड हार्टेड, स्वीट, अडोरेबल. सो वेरी वेरी ब्यूटिफुल बुक. एंड इस बुक को मैं इतना ज़्यादा रिकमेंड कर चुकी हूँ सबको, एंड एवरीवन हु हैज रेड दिस बुक दे लव्ड इट. सो वेरी वेरी नाइस, वेरी लाइट हार्टेड, हार्ट वार्मिंग, फील गुड book, and you should definitely pick this one up. Next book that made to my top list this year is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Now this one is again a fable, but it was very beautiful reading this book, and the lessons जो मैंने इस बुक से सीखे सो वो भी बहुत अच्छे थे. दिस बुक गेव मी समवट काइंड ऑफ द पावर ऑफ नाउ वाइब. कुछ चीज़ें थी सिमिलर, आई वोंट से कि बहुत ज़्यादा सिमिलैरिटी थी या फिर बिल्कुल उसकी तरह थी, नहीं, बट इट गेव मी दैट वाइब ऑफ दैट बुक. इसलिए मुझे बुक पढ़नी काफ़ी अच्छी लगी. और जो जो इस चीज़ बुक में बताया गया है, सम ऑफ द पॉइंट्स दोस वर अमेजिंग एंड आई रियली एंजॉयड रीडिंग दिस बुक. मैंने बुक लीज ली थी बिकॉज बहुत ज़्यादा फेमस है, बट आई कैन से दैट दिस बुक इज वर्थ रीडिंग. सो या, यू शुड डेफिनेटली पिक दिस वन अप. नेक्स्ट बुक दैट वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट, this one is amazing. I was blown away by this book, and this book is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. This book, next level book. ये बुक मैंने खरीदी थी क्योंकि मुझे बहुत स्वीट सी लगी थी, एंड आई लाइक वेरी क्यूट, वेरी नाइस. कुछ पेजेस मैंने देखे थे ऑनलाइन इस बुक के, सो आई रियली लव देम. सो मुझे लगा ले लेती हूँ, ठीक है. बट जब मैंने ये बुक पढ़ी तो इस बुक बहुत ही अच्छी, आई कांट टेल यू. एक होता है ना कुछ बुक पढ़ के आपको अच्छा लगता है, बुक those are just nice. These books are just amazing. So all the people who are watching this video, you should definitely get this book. आप कोई बुक लो या ना लो, ये बुक तो आप जरूर लेना. It's very very beautiful. My mother thought कि this book is a wastage of money, but जब उन्होंने ये बुक पढ़ी तो she loved it. So now you know this one is approved by my mother as well. So आप सोच सकते हो कि ये actually बहुत अच्छी बुक है. So definitely pick this book up. एक तो बहुत छोटी, आधे घंटे में आप पूरी बुक पढ़ लोगे, बट कुछ बुक्स होती है ना जो कम चीज़ों में बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ कह जाते हैं, एंड यू नो छोटी छोटी बातें. सो वेरी amazing book. This book I absolutely love, and if you have any recommendation for books like this, because I want to read many books like these now, so मुझे ज़रूर बताइएगा. And get this book if you don't have it. Definitely get this book now. Last but not the least, the final book that made to my list, not in any order, but the last book that we'll be talking about is First Person Singular by Murakami. So I absolutely love Murakami's work, the way he writes his magic realism. I love it. He always leaves things at a cliffhanger, which I don't like at times also, because I'm like, okay, what happened? I want answers, but at the same time I like that mystery. So that is why this book is here. Now this one is a collection of short stories, 8 short stories, and इसमें वही मुराकामी का जो genre होता है magic realism, और the stories on youth, solitude, loneliness, all these things. So yeah, I couldn't stop myself reading this book. बिकॉज एक तो शॉर्ट स्टोरीज थी, तो वो बिल्ड बहुत जल्दी होती हैं और ख़त्म भी बहुत जल्दी होती हैं. तो एक ख़त्म हो गई, लाइक अच्छा ठीक है. आई थॉट कि मैं थोड़ा वेट करके रीड करूँगी, बट हुआ नहीं वो. मैंने एक पढ़ी, ठीक है एक और पढ़ लेती हूँ. देन आई रेड अनदर स्टोरी एंड दैट केप्ट गोइंग ऑन एंड आई कंप्लीटेड दिस बुक. बट या, आई लाइक्ड इट. सो I guess I like reading short stories as well. I got to know after reading this book. So that is another kind of book now that I can get. And amazing book. I am so glad that मैंने short stories, first short story मैंने मुराकामी की पढ़ी. And yeah, a great book, a must read. And for all Murakami lovers, pick this up. Okay guys, so these were the 10 books, my top 10 books of 2021, books that I absolutely love reading this year. I would love to know which are those books that made to your list. So do share with me. I want to get all that amazing recommendation. जो इतनी सारी books पढ़ी उनमें से कौन सी book आपको सबसे अच्छी लगी? If you want, you can share top 10, or if you don't want to do the top 5, or if you just want, you can share one book with me. The highlight of the year, book that you absolutely loved in the entire year. I would love to know that, so that I can have the best recommendation ever, and then I can get those books. So do let me know. I am waiting for it. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for checking these books out. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.